Hello, hello. It's Memento, and I'm here to tell you about Whisper of the House. I'm in my best cleaning gear. I got my hat, I got my hoodie. I feel fantastic. And I told myself I would just play a game for fun. I really told myself I would just play a game for fun. But then I finished my initial playthrough of Whisper of the House, and I wanted to go back for more. I needed more, and now I'm here doing this review and working on convincing all of y'all that this is a creepy, cozy game. So let's get one thing out of the way. This is a cozy horror game. You might be wondering what the heck I mean by that, and instead of telling you, let me just show you. Are you more on board now? Good. That means I can continue. Whisper of the House is a cozy horror game, and I am so here for it. This is a relatively new genre, or at least a genre we haven't seen as much of in the past, and there's no one right way to do it. I would say that Whisper of the House is a little bit more subtle in most of its horror elements, but there is still this unsettling nature that just kind of lingers beneath the surface. It makes you feel just a little creeped out when you go to do some of those homes. And who the heck is sending me weird notes? Before I leave you with more questions, though, let me explain the game a little. You work as a general cleaner, mover, and all-around housing specialist, and have just moved to Whisper Town. Here, you start up your business and quickly move up the ranks as you go to different homes and assist the residents. This can be in a multitude of different ways, so there's always a type of home for you, and that was something I really liked about the game was if one type wasn't your favorite, chances are there would be another one that was. While you're working, though, occasionally the items that you see in these homes and outside seem to be glitchy. It's strange, and when you click on them, they shatter, and the mysterious number on the museum ticks down lower and lower, growing ever closer to zero. It's haunting, it's a little menacing, but that's not your problem, because you're just here to work. The characters you encounter are certainly quirky, and it's fun to get to know them through their initial letters and the occasional phone calls that you receive. Plus, as you unpack houses and organize stores, it becomes clear the type of people that have hired you. I love that many of the houses have you going back or have a second location tied to them. This allows you some more time to spend with each character so they don't feel one-dimensional despite the limited storytelling that's available in the world. There are no social links, you're not slowly getting to know the characters over time like you would in a traditional cozy game, but by visiting houses multiple times and seeing them in multiple different states, you get to know the characters that live in those houses or that previously lived in those houses. Even the characters in the world have unique things to say based on where they're located. I think my personal favorite dialogue in the game is when you help the man stranded by the lighthouse. I can't explain why, but I just find it so funny. Poor man thought he was just going to be alone the rest of his life. Another thing about Whisper of the House is how much you can interact with. All around the world, there are countless things to interact with, and doing so, you get rewarded with items for your home, vouchers to buy furniture, or even events. I discovered a boating event this time around that was kind of funny, and I was like, ooh, what did I get this time? So in my second playthrough, to trigger that boating event, I clicked everything, and it really did reward me. I triggered events, I triggered new dialogue, and I even got a couple achievements because of it. It was cool to see, and it made my decision to replay it so soon all the better. Along with interacting with the world around you, you can also interact with a lot of objects in the homes you work in. Most of the time, this just leads to funny Easter eggs and Steam achievements, like the one about the water bill. I can relate to that. They say the water is still running to this day. But other times, this can trigger one of the glitches. For example, I was in the music store, and every single instrument was highlighted in yellow. So I clicked every single instrument, and I found the singular one that was glitched. I hadn't done that in my first playthrough, so this was completely new, and I'm getting closer to my perfection run. It seems that the more glitches you find, the more that opens up to you. And I don't have recorded footage of this because I kept going offline, but this will become extra prevalent in the alchemy lab. That's the only thing I'm going to tell you about it. But there do seem to be a couple additional things that open up to you as long as you're finding these glitches, finding these extra rooms, and that's making the world all the more vast. It's certainly, and at the end of the day, it's certainly already leading to a fun experience as I replay this game again. Literally got it on release day, played through most of it that weekend. It hasn't been that much time since then. And I do know that there's a secret hiding at the museum. I mean, there's the bars across when you go into the museum. Clearly something is back there when I hit 0. Okay, my tangent is finished. Back to the houses we work on. There are a lot of different types to see, and each one has its own unique appeal. And to start, let's go over each one of them. The first house we go into is we are helping someone unpack their things in a simple home with a dark secret. This shows us how to move objects around, and we can take them between the rooms even to further customize the experience. And the one thing about these homes is that you can't add any items. What you have is all you have. So you make the most of it and you organize everything that your client has brought there. There's children screaming outside my window. The next type of job you encounter is helping to set up a large music store. For this job, you actually just have to place everything down in the correct spot. Technically, I think you can get away with a few things not being perfect, but I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to things like this, so I really enjoyed lining everything up perfectly, and this was a really satisfying room to do, even though you have no creative control over it. I don't know, it was fun, it was neat, I enjoyed it. And although I only encountered this type of job once, I definitely want to mention the Hidden Objects side quest because I personally loved it. I had such a fun time hunting down the little kittens hiding in the department store. It's really silly, but it's a nice reprieve from everything else that you're doing, and I really hope that in the future they add 1 or 2 more of these because I really like them. They're just, I don't know, it's soothing and it adds another level to the game where, once again, if you prefer one type of thing over the other, you can encounter it more than once. The next type of job I encountered involved cleaning the home. This meant throwing away trash, breaking down old furniture, and salvaging everything that you can. And this was probably my second favorite because something about cleaning spaces up virtually is just so satisfying to me. I wish I could find a way to enjoy it as much IRL, but for now I guess I'll stick to in-game. It's just nice to see a once rundown house look a little more presentable, and as with most places in Whisper of the House, there's usually a story to tell because of it, and in this unique case, in the footage you're seeing, you do actually revisit this house and get to spruce it up further, which I really love, and the fishy house is actually, I think, one of my favorite storylines. Finally, there are the model homes and commission board. These earn you a little bit extra money, and it might surprise you guys, but this was my least favorite. I think since I was so personally focused on just playing and experiencing the game, I wasn't looking for a highly creative experience like what is offered during these model homes. However, on my second playthrough, I did have a bit more fun with it. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing my little horror streamer house, and I do plan to make a few more. I tend to like the story houses better, and not as much the model homes or the commission board. I don't know. They're not perfectly for me, but the appeal is certainly there, and I think that this is an excellent thing, and I like that it is semi-optional. You only have to do the first one, and you can do additional ones if you need more money. Now, to tie in with these model homes, you can only access the furniture you own. So, how do you get more furniture? Well, to do this, you need to go shopping, which ends up being the bane of my existence a little bit, but it's fine, it's fine. A reasonable person would spend as they go. You finish a job, you go to the market, you buy some things, and then you do your next job. That is the smart way to do this. However, I have never promised that I was smart. So, I decided to buy everything at the very end of my first playthrough since I wasn't worried about the model homes, and oh man, I wish there was a skip feature or a larger box option, because each time you do this, it is a mystery box. Each one of these mystery boxes has, you can either open 1 item at a time or 10 items at a time, and I wish I could open 100 at a time. It's a little tedious seeing as there are so many little clutter objects that you can get. There's so much variation to the furniture, and there's so much of everything. There's a lot of objects, which is awesome until you're doing this at the end of the game. It's worth it though, because when you do all of the free decorating, it's nice to be able to especially place the little clutter objects around the homes. I love that I could put my old boba on the desk, so I was like, oh, it's like real life. I'm not kidding, I have last night's drink on my desk. Finally, the music. The way the music is done is so charming. Each area has its own soundtrack that lends to the ambiance. And I do think one of my favorite moments was when I went into the creepy room and the music just cuts out entirely. It's a really good move, and it leaves you feeling very unsettled, and I think that Whisper of the House does a really good job at balancing the different ambiance for each area, and I'm really excited to get to an area once again in the future with this. The first time I played through it, I was not giving it a critical eye or ear. I'm really excited to get to a place in the future because I'm like, ooh, I wonder how that soundtrack ties in. I know I didn't appreciate it on my first playthrough, so I'm really hyped to appreciate it my second time through. My one note, though, is I turned off sound effects, and I can still hear every time I rotate. And oh my goodness, if you try and place an object on one wall and then the other, it makes the same noise. And it's not like it's an annoying sound or anything, but especially when I do these videos, I like to just have the music playing and not worry about the sound effects. And I got tired of listening to the rotating of the different objects. Oh my gosh, in the grocery store, I had to change how I arranged things because I didn't want to rotate every single object. This isn't something super major, but I noticed it, so you get to hear about it too. Just tie that to the sound effects and it fixes everything. So my final thoughts. I have no miscellaneous things because honestly everything fit really perfectly in my opinion. And Whisper of the House really is a fantastic blend of cozy with just enough creepy to keep me on my toes. I would feel this mild, unsettling feeling at times, but it was in a good way, and it left me wanting to know what secrets were hiding in Whisper Town, just waiting to be discovered. And if you needed a few hints, might I suggest the paper? Each newspaper has just a couple things that might be going on in the town. And I do like that between my first and second playthroughs, I have no footage of this, so I can't prove it, but they did add a clock feature to the bottom left the bottom left corner of the screen. So for some of the things that you have to go to at certain times or around certain times, it is easier to do that now, which I really appreciated. I bought Whisper of the House with my own money, and while I did get it for a launch day sale, looking at the full price of $14.99, I would have no problem paying that much. This game is so charming, and I instantly fell in love with it. Plus, there are plans to expand the game in the future, with the devs directly listening to suggestions from the player base. So, while they are first focusing on making sure that their launch version of the game is completely stable, they're not just leaving it at this version of the game. They are actively going to add more and make a roadmap as soon as they're past this stabilizing period, and I think that's amazing. Whisper of the House is a game that is full of unlimited possibilities. Even just going throughout the town, there were so many stores I couldn't even go into, or so many houses I couldn't even go into. So the potential to go to so many different places is already there. And even just within Whisper Town, you can expand so much. And I really hope that I can continue to play it and experience all it has to offer. But first, I am so excited to get a 100% playthrough so that I can get into that back room of the museum and maybe see some places that I haven't yet been able to access. Fingers crossed. And that's it. That's my review of Whisper of the House. I don't know why I want to say it like that every time, but I really did love this game, and if you loved this video, give it a like, leave a nice little comment, or maybe even subscribe so that you know every time I upload a new video. And with that being said, I probably have to clean my IRL house now. Ready, steady, bye!